amphibious assault ship carrying over 2,500 sailors and Marines heads for her duty station in the Western Pacific. But just a few short weeks after leaving her home port of San Diego, the Peleliu and her crew suddenly find themselves catapulted into the war in Afghanistan. Come with us and embark on one of the U.S. Navy's largest fighting ships and experience life on board as her crew of over 2,500 sailors and Marines find themselves on a peacetime voyage that quickly turns into a wartime mission. Here in New York City, just a few miles up the Hudson River from Ground Zero, is one of America's great fighting ships, the aircraft carrier Intrepid. Retired from service, the Intrepid is a floating museum of military history, now made more relevant to the tourists visiting her by the events that took place within sight of her anchorage. On board, visitors can experience naval history firsthand. Here on the flight deck are examples of every type of aircraft to take off or land on the Intrepid. Below deck are exhibits and displays commemorating the battles and engagements the Intrepid took part in. Ships like this one have a fighting life of 40 to 60 years before they are sent to the scrap heap. But a few escape, assigned a new type of duty as living museums of naval warfare, available for every American to explore and enjoy. But something is still missing here: real sailors and a real mission. On the other side of the country, Travel Channel cameras are going behind the scenes of a ship actually getting underway, the USS Peleliu. The Peleliu is just a few days from her next sea deployment, and in just one short month, she will find herself in the thick of the war in Afghanistan. But for now, the Peleliu gets ready to embark on what promises to be a routine mission. This is the naval base at San Diego, California, home to the ships and men of the Pacific Fleet. It's here that these behemoths of the sea come home to rest and be refitted for their next deployments. Carriers, submarines, guided missile cruisers, and every type of ship the Navy has, including the Peleliu. Like every ship in the United States Navy, the USS Peleliu has a specific task. This is an amphibious assault ship. Its primary mission, to transport and land U.S. Marine ground forces at the scene of battle.
I've been on cruisers, frigates, and destroyers, and to park one up right next to this, the Peleliu, it kind of dwarfs it. It's home to 1,000 Marines that are war fighters. So you've got a big ship, 31 aircraft, and 2,500 people. It's big, it's vast, and it's impressive.
Longer than 2 football fields, over 15 decks from top to bottom. After the aircraft carrier, this is the largest ship the Navy puts to sea. Its sole purpose, to deliver Marines into battle, complete with their tanks, artillery, fighter jets, and helicopters, providing a rapid buildup of combat forces, even in the face of heavy opposition.
Hold on, I got a pinwheel.
The Peleliu is scheduled to depart in just a few days, and its crew of 900 sailors are making final preparations for a 6-month deployment at sea.
I want to keep careful. It's good to go? All right.
Hawaii will be her first port of call, and then on to her duty station in the Western Pacific. Work parties are busy moving supplies on board, supplies which will keep the ship self-sufficient for months at a time. Her passengers, the 15th Marine Division Expeditionary Force, 1,400 men and women strong, are beginning to arrive at pierside. They will board the Peleliu and two smaller ships, the Comstock and the Dubuque, together making up an amphibious battle group. These are our nation's shock troops, the first in, the ones whose job it is to establish and secure beachheads for the soldiers who follow. This enormous hold will soon be filled with the marine support vehicles which are strung out along the dock waiting to board. The Peleliu will load every tank, Humvee, and truck this division could possibly need in a battle situation.
If you have to straighten them out, bring them off, straighten them out, and bring them back on. If he kicks that out, we're done.
But getting it all up these narrow ramps and into the ship's holds is a slow and trying process. Anything and everything this self-contained floating city needs to operate on a daily basis will be loaded and tightly stowed somewhere on the ship. But the most important cargo is yet to appear. There are no aircraft on board. It's too dangerous to land on deck while the ship is in port, so the day before actual departure, the Peleliu slips out of its berth and positions herself well away from the harbor. Almost immediately, a steady stream of Marine helicopters and Harrier jets start arriving from Camp Pendleton, just 40 miles up the coast from San Diego. The Peleliu carries 6 Harriers, a plane capable of vertical landing and takeoffs.
The Harrier has the capability to take off in a short distance and also land vertically. This is not a carrier. There are no catapults, and there are no cables to catch us when we come back to land.
This highly maneuverable plane is designed to provide close air support to an invading ground force. The Super Stallion is the most powerful helicopter in the military.
It's got 3 engines at 4,380 horsepower apiece. We can do up to 150 knots. We're capable of lifting our own weight. So it's a strong helicopter, and it's very capable of doing pretty much anything.
The Peleliu also has troop carriers for moving large numbers of Marines to a beachhead, and the attack helicopters which can precede them. 31 aircraft, all used in support of this Marine Expeditionary Force. But there is yet another important cargo to unload. Cargo that, like the aircraft, can only be boarded out here in the open sea. The last thing to load are the small landing craft, which make the Peleliu what she is, an amphibious assault ship. And the ship needs to be out here in deep water because loading these amphibians is a special and unique proposition. Similar to a canal lock, the Peleliu actually floods itself, letting seawater rush into its deepest hold. This area, called the well, fills with water to a depth that allows the landing craft to cruise right into the ship. The floor of the hold actually submerges several feet to allow this to happen. These landing craft have been the backbone of amphibious landings since the days of World War II. As we can see in this vintage color footage, they were used for the D-Day invasion of Normandy Beach, the first large-scale use of amphibian. These craft have a draft 4 feet below the waterline. With the well completely flooded, they easily motor into the ship and to their berths. But in the distance is the Peleliu's largest passenger, an 80-foot-long hovercraft carrying a full load of trucks and equipment. A far cry from the amphibious landing craft of World War II, this is the modern Navy at its best. These LCATs, as the Navy calls them, churn up winds of over 250 miles per hour from 4 centrifugal fans. These craft can carry 75 tons of equipment for distances of 200 to 300 miles. Riding on an air cushion atop the water, they can not only land soldiers and equipment on the beach, but can actually ride right up onto it so no one even gets their feet wet. In this footage, shot on the coast of Somalia in 1994, this LCAT from the Peleliu lands a cargo of Marines and their equipment. These enormous craft made possible the rapid deployment of a peacekeeping force in that war-torn country. And today, running at a top speed of 40 knots, Hellcats can make assaults from 50 miles offshore, carrying heavy payloads like M1 tanks without regard to water depth, obstructions, or tides. They can even proceed inland over sand dunes and riverbanks, giving these craft access to almost 80% of the world's shoreline. And their extreme range allows the Peleliu itself to remain hidden over the horizon, safe from enemy fire. This amphibian has made a 50-mile run from the Marine base up the coast. But because she has no draft like the smaller boats, she can enter the well dry, just like a beach landing. The craft master, or pilot, works from a small cockpit at the front. He's in radio contact with the controller, who guides the craft from a position inside the well. The clearances are critical as the Hellcat eases her way up the ramp. This is dangerous work as a heavy wind washes through the hold. The operation relies on a high degree of precision with little margin for error. Once the onloading of the landing craft is complete, the Peleliu is now finally fully loaded and ready to deploy on a peacetime voyage to the Western Pacific. But this is just 1 month before the terrorist attacks on New York and Washington, an event that will propel the Peleliu and her crew into the battlefields of Afghanistan.
This program is sponsored in part by MasterCard. There are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard.
New sneakers to help her play basketball and win a college scholarship, $26. Books to help her learn her ABCs and become a best-selling author, $30. Globe so she can learn her continents, which will come in handy when she's president, $18. Remembering to take it one day at a time, priceless. There are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard. Accept it for everything you want for your kids.
Ah, vacation. Time to kick back and relax. Yeah, right. The Travel Channel's incredible vacation videothons exposing the wildest, craziest, most intense vacations ever caught on camera. Daring, edge-of-your-seat moments that will leave you breathless. No need for sunscreen, because this is no day at the beach. The incredible Vacation Videothon, all day Monday starting at noon, only on the Travel Channel. Count down the best in travel on World's Best. From water parks to casinos, beaches to coasters, we've got the top in travel. World's Best, Wednesdays at 9 on the Travel Channel.
Bottom line, we've got to boost margins.
Do more with less.
Slash the ad budget.
Scale back in the Pacific Rim.
Actually, IT has a plan. Dave?
We're going with Dell. See, Dell's as focused on us as they are on driving down cost. PowerEdge servers, Intel Xeon processors, it's the flexibility we need. And that cuts costs, not productivity.
Smart move, Dave. Now we won't even have to cut the free coffee.
Find out how you can cut costs across your enterprise. Easy as Dell. Call or go online today.
Dear Mother, I guess I'm not cut out for prison. Work detail is more than a presbyope can bear. And forget KP. If I could see the exit sign, I'd break out.
Here you are, dear.
Oh, tiramisu.
Enjoy it. Dear Ethel, Verilux patented lenses let you see near, far, and everything in between. Run, dear.
Come back and see us.
Hey, bro, bet you can't eat just one. I reject your wager. This amigo lives by his own code. Now, what would happen if I indulged in another? You see, no eclipse of the sun, no interplanetary realignment, no harmonic convergence.
Introducing Lay's newest taste of America, California Cool Dill Potato Chips. No one can eat just one.
Perhaps I spoke too soon.
On September 11th, air travel over the U.S. came to a startling halt, and America's airports would change forever. Now, the Travel Channel takes you inside San Francisco International Airport, just moments after the tragedy unfolded.
We've received confirmation Flight 93 has crashed.
Plus, how vulnerable are the nation's airports 1 year later? It's the world premiere of Airport on Alert, Thursday at 9, only on the Travel Channel. we're back with more Travel Channel Presents.
Just a month before the terrorist attacks on New York and Washington, the amphibious assault ship USS Peleliu is finally ready to depart on a 6-month deployment to the Western Pacific.
Good morning. This is Rear Admiral Marshall, Amphibious Group 3. I'm on board Peleliu this morning to wish you Godspeed and farewell as you embark on a 6-month deployment.
After many months of refitting and upgrading, this will be the Peleliu's first long cruise in a year and a half. Her crew of sailors and Marines will not see their families for 6 long months, and the goodbyes are never easy.
Saying goodbye to family is probably the hardest and my own personal least liked part of the Navy. I've been in the Navy for 18 years. This is my 9th major deployment. I have a wife, I have 3 beautiful children, and I found that it gets harder every single time.
This is the first deployment that I've made that I've left children behind. I've been in the Navy about 20 years, but I've been on shore duty for about 6 years. So in that time, I have a 5.5-year-old, a 3.5-year-old, and I have a daughter to be born in about 2 weeks.
For some sailors, it will be the first time away from their loved ones. For others, it's just another deployment in a career full of them. But that doesn't make it any easier.
I know I'm gonna miss my daughters, I'm gonna miss my wife, but with my son, it really hit me that when I come back, he may not be as cuddly, he may not be as friendly to Daddy, he may not recognize Daddy.
At least 30 children will be born before their fathers will return. Captain Larry Watson starts making his way to the bridge as the ship prepares to get underway. In the boiler room, sailors get ready to ignite the giant furnaces that supply power to the ship's engines. Lighting the wick seems like a throwback to times long gone. But these boilers are over 40 years old, and this ignition system is one part of the ship that has yet to be upgraded.
Main bridge. All right, 2 and 3 both. Hey, now. Yep, bitch, test main engines.
The building pressure is closely monitored in the engine room, waiting for enough power to get the ship underway. Moving a ship this size through a narrow channel, a maze of other ships, and into the open sea is not a job for the faint-hearted.
Getting a little nervous here.
It requires the split-second timing of sailors all over the ship working together.
30 seconds, stand by to mark time, 08.
15 seconds, stand by.
State-of-the-art GPS equipment shows the ship's position at the pier.
That's our ship right there. So.
See where we are, like in relation to traffic.
Okay, single up all lines.
The giant shafts connected to the ship's propellers start to turn. The Peleliu slowly begins to slide away from her pier as emotions run high with the families left behind. Although San Diego has a big harbor, the ship channel is extremely narrow, with little margin for error for a ship as large as the Peleliu.
Here, 850 yards, right of track in our turn near gate navigation, regular 26 Alpha, 4000. Very well.
Captain Watson monitors the whole operation from the bridge.
Fun is driving the ship. That's what a surface warfare officer does. He drives ships. He's a total warrior, all warfare areas, and driving the ship is one of the fun parts.
The crew, sailors, and Marines alike man the rails, a Navy tradition going back hundreds of years. They stand in honor of their families, their home port, and all the servicemen and women who have preceded them into the open sea.
Certainly, a ship is lifeless without its sailors, chiefs, officers, and Marines. So when we man that rail, that's our way of showing to folks out there that it's us that make the Navy, not the ship itself. And there's nothing like a smart-looking ship with a bunch of sailors and Marines standing tall surrounding it as you pull out of or into a port.
Like all amphibious assault ships, the Peleliu is named for an important marine invasion in which hundreds of sailors and Marines lost their lives.
The landing in the Palau group is on the island of Peleliu.
USS Peleliu is named after a battle that took place in September of 1944.
A Marine invasion force took over 1,600 casualties on this little-known island in the South Pacific.
Peleliu was a bloody and extremely hard-fought fight for the 1st Marine Division. It's significant that a ship today that's out there serving the interests of the nation, hopefully keeping the peace, will have the Marines, the sailors, and the combat power that'll prevent us from ever having to do that again.
But upcoming events will soon make certain that we will have to do it again. And a ship like the Peleliu can deliver an invasion force equal to the one launched from over 15 ships in the invasion the Peleliu was named after. Now, with the port and a pier full of families fading into the distance, the ship's navigators plot a course for Pearl Harbor, the Peleliu's first stop on her way to West Pac, the abbreviation for her duty station in the Western Pacific. But what is starting out as a routine 6-month peacetime deployment for the Peleliu and her crew will soon turn into a battlefield mission no one on board could ever have predicted.
In 1999, he took you behind the scenes with the Taliban. Now, adventurer Robert Young Pelton returns to Afghanistan for a Travel Channel exclusive. From the front lines of the war on terror to a crowded Taliban prison to the first interview with John Walker Lind.
Can you tell us if you have family in America?
World's most dangerous places inside Afghanistan. Coming up next, only on the Travel Channel.
When you sign up for any AT&T wireless calling plan starting at $19.99 a month, you can get a Nokia 3360 for only $29.99 after mail-in rebate. That's M-Life from AT&T Wireless. Hurry in or call today.
You got one vanilla cone. Did you want sprinkles on that?
Yeah, sprinkles be great.
Lost your wallet? We'll help you replace any major credit card 24/7. When you carry American Express traveler's checks, so you can get back to your vacation.
Sprinkles.
Now you can get great pictures from a one-time use camera. The Kodak Max HQ. It's the only camera of its kind with an Ectonar lens. So you get the sharpest pictures of any one-time use camera. Because great pictures can make a special day even better.
Hey, what's this? Share the moment, share life.
Are you losing your hair? Is that bald spot getting bigger?
Medical studies have reported the body chemical DHT is the leading cause of hair loss. We've developed Avocor, a natural herbal treatment that stops DHT from attacking your hair follicles. Avocor regrows hair in balding areas. We guarantee it. Stop DHT from ruining your life.
Call 888-704-3276. Use Avocor risk-free for 3 full months. Call 888-704-3276.
When you come to Las Vegas, you want to be in the middle of the action without spending a fortune on your room. This can become a real balancing act. But right now, Circus Hotel and Casino is making it easy with this exclusive TV offer. If you call now, you can stay under the big top in the heart of the Strip at a special discount rate. While you're here, catch our free circus acts. Try your luck in one of our 3 casinos and enjoy our 7 fine restaurants, including the Steakhouse, voted the best in Las Vegas. You'll also get $4 off admission to the Adventure Dome theme park, the largest indoor theme park in North America, with over 5 acres of rides and attractions. And if you call now, you'll receive a bonus 2-for-1 breakfast buffet and a free fun book worth over $100. So don't clown around with your vacation plans. Call Circus now and take advantage of the best deal on the Las Vegas Strip.
We're back with more Travel Channel Presents.
Early morning on the flight deck of the Peleliu, an amphibious assault ship on her way to a 6-month peacetime deployment in the Western Pacific. This is the time the Marines can use the only real open space on the ship. They may be out in the middle of the ocean, but that doesn't stop the 15th Division from staying in shape. Six levels below on the mess deck, cooks are preparing breakfast for 2,000. This single kitchen does breakfast, lunch, dinner, and a fourth meal served at midnight for every enlisted man and woman on board. 7,000 meals a day.
This mess deck is capable of holding 262 people in one sitting. I go through 12 sittings in one meal. It's very hard to just keep these people moving. They need to know that they just can't sit here. This is not a lounge area. This is eat, get up, and get on.
As for how good it is, first of all, on board it's not food, it's chow.
Navy chow, you had to bring that up.
On USS Peleliu, it's the best chow in the world.
It's interesting food.
I'm not going to say it's excellent. We all need to eat on board this ship.
There's lots of it.
Navy chow affects the morale of the ship. If they don't like it, all I hear is people complaining all day long. I don't like that. And I'm the person that they complain to.
Topside, with the Marines gone to breakfast, the flight deck opens for business. Every day the ship is at sea, she must be combat ready. Air operations run continuously throughout the day. And with the cramped space for this many aircraft, the flight crews never stop moving.
We got the yellow shirts, which is the ones that coordinate the flight deck evolutions. They also the ones that are going to be moving the aircraft out of the way, make sure we got a good, safe launch area. The purple shirts already did all their fueling already, so everybody's going to be getting out of the way. But it's teamwork that happens on the flight deck. Everybody's got to do their job and know what they got to do.
This is really a seagoing airport that on most days has as much air traffic as many major cities. High above the deck, looking down on all this, is the air boss.
The air boss on any big deck ship is, I would say, the head conductor for flight operations. On this particular class of ship with 31 aircraft, we will, in essence, fly 10 hours a day.
Roll turquoise for deck check. Fly 5-3 deck check.
I have a team of about 150 sailors. We're responsible for fueling, we're responsible for moving aircraft, both on deck and down in the hangar.
Most of the Peleliu's aircraft are stored on the hangar deck immediately below the flight deck. They are brought to the flight deck by two enormous elevator platforms.
This team comes together every day for about 15 hours because it takes a few hours before to prepare for flight ops, and it certainly takes 2 or 3 hours afterwards to put aircraft away. And we are the essence, the infrastructure of the airport to support the Marines and their flight operations.
Mid-morning and the medical department opens for sick call. Belly aches, toothaches, minor injuries, colds. Here's where you can see a medical corpsman or a doctor who will fix up whatever ails you.
My job is to take care of sick call as they walk in,
see them, get them back to work if it's possible. And that's like the priority when you're in operational medicine. Sick call's the biggest thing.
But there's one affliction even modern medicine can't do very much about.
Seasickness. It happens. It happens a lot, even to the people who have been on board a ship before, small or large. This particular ship is a flat-bottom ship, so it rides the waves rather than cutting through them. So the seasickness on board this ship is more than maybe an aircraft carrier or something.
The constant pitching, riding up and down the waves, is only visible when the camera lines up the horizontal of the deck with the distant horizon. Even in a calm sea like this one, everyone on board can feel the movement.
When you get out in the middle of the ocean, it can be a considerable sick call complaint.
But sick call is just the surface level of medical facilities available on board.
Can I get a specimen container?
You know, the sack I usually just push back, so it probably won't have a specimen.
The Peleliu actually carries a 500-bed hospital with a full complement of surgeons and nurses. This is a combat support ship, and it must be ready to deal with the wounds and injuries of battle on a massive scale. Today, a young Marine is undergoing a hernia operation, and the treatment he receives is the equal of any hospital on the mainland. The Peleliu carries 30 medical corpsmen and 9 doctors, 3 of whom are general surgeons. And although the Peleliu opens its medical facility to local patients in third world ports, the real purpose of this facility is to treat soldiers wounded in battle.
This ship is what's known as a casualty receiving and treatment ship. Basically, all the Marines on this ship and the other ships around us in the beachfront come back. This would be one place. So we have to have a hospital and an operating room that's ready to go at all times.
Moving around on a ship of this size almost demands a course in navigation all on its own.
I've been here for almost 2 weeks, and I can find my way to my stateroom. I can find my way to work, and that's a good thing.
Sleeping quarters, called berthings, are spread throughout the ship wherever they can be squeezed in.
The sleeping quarters of the Navy right here. This is where we sleep. We have a nice cozy mattress here, a coffin locker, everything you need. The basic comforts of home. It's not exactly like it would be at home, but for 6 months, this is where we're going to be sleeping.
Because schedules are spread across all 24 hours of every day, there's always somebody sleeping. Berths are stacked in threes, with just 2.5 feet of headroom. Sailors store their gear in 2 lockers, one slim upright and one underneath the mattress. And of course, everything's got to be kept ship-shape at all times.
Conning officer, steady course 302, checking 286.
And how does everyone keep those uniforms clean and starched during a 6-month deployment? Along with everything else that makes this a self-contained floating city is the ship's laundry.
We do a lot of it. We can wash about 800 pounds an hour. Got to keep it going, get the crew happy. They got to have clean clothes to work in. We spend roughly about 12 hours a day processing all the laundry from start to finish.
Up on the flight deck, a Harrier has just come in with a problem. One of the underwing missiles failed to fire during an exercise. But the potential danger is not only to the plane, but to the ship itself if the missile were to misfire. The Navy has a specially trained unit that travels with all battle groups, the Explosive Ordnance Disposal Unit, otherwise known as the Bomb Squad. The Peleliu is full of ordnance, bombs, missiles, ammunition of all sorts. If these guys make a mistake, they could take the whole ship with them.
We respond to all ordnance items on board, both the USS Peleliu, the Comstock, and the Dubuque. It takes tremendous concentration due to the complexity of the fusing devices that we have to deal with. It's a very delicate field to be in.
With live ordnance constantly being handled and loaded onto aircraft, the ship needs this highly trained group, which is expert in disarming and disposing of explosives. EOD constantly trains for all situations.
So we jump out of aircrafts, we dive in the ocean, we jump out of helicopters. We work with explosives constantly. It's just an exciting field to be in for the Navy or any of the services.
The EOD has to be able to board a ship in distress, even if their helo can't make a landing. So they train to drop or rappel to wherever they may be needed. In this case, dropping onto the deck of one of the smaller ships accompanying the Peleliu. But even worse than a loose bomb is what comes along with it, the thing the Navy fears the most. Fire. The absolute worst thing that can happen to a ship at sea.
There is no way of escaping. Firefighting becomes paramount because you can go nowhere.
1967. The USS Forstall, cruising off the coast of Vietnam. While preparing for a mission, an F-14 accidentally fires a rocket which streaks across the deck, striking another jet. The plane's fuel tanks explode and flames quickly spread, engulfing the entire aft end of the ship. Missiles and ordnance on other aircraft ignite with tremendous force, and the entire flight deck becomes a blazing inferno. When the fire was finally put out, 134 sailors were dead or missing in one of the worst at-sea disasters the Navy has ever experienced. The fire drill is a daily occurrence while underway.
Come on, your hose handling. Everyone is a firefighter, every single person on the ship, because again, you can't run away from a fire.
Give me a mask. Obey casters. Obey casters.
Fire on a warship is it's a horrible thing because it's hard to control it. Once you get burning metal mixed with things that feed it, like aviation fuel, certainly we're surrounded by a variety of ordnance. That is absolutely the worst thing that can happen. So what do? We train. We train a lot.
What we're getting ready to do is to go through an unwrap, which means we're going to be taking on fuel.
One of the most potentially dangerous at-sea maneuvers, and a fire hazard as well, is the underway replenishment, or unrep.
When we get the okay and everything's lined up properly, we're going to get the go to shoot this line across so we can get this unrep underway.
With the ships in position, the guideline is shot across to the tanker. The U.S. Navy maintains a fleet of fuel tankers on all major sea lanes, ocean-going gas stations that can refuel any and all passing naval vessels. Even on this relatively brief passage to Pearl Harbor, the Peleliu and her accompanying ships will take the opportunity to top off their tanks.
We like to refuel as often as possible. At times it can get very rough. We always like to have as much fuel on board as possible. You can refuel at amounts from anywhere from 100,000 gallons to we've gone as much as 700,000 to 800,000 gallons.
The underway replenishment detail is considered difficult and dangerous because when the ships are in such close proximity and the seas rushing between them, it can create a suction which, if the officer of the deck and the helmsman don't pay attention to what they're doing, the ships could actually get sucked together.
Allowing those ships to touch with such momentum could be catastrophic.
To make sure the ships don't collide, they are in constant communication with each other using radio, semaphore, and even hand signals.
Within each ship, there is a great deal of communication. It is one of the most hazardous things we do on a regular basis, just bringing such large ships in close proximity.
With the ship's fuel and aviation tanks topped off, the Peleliu and tanker break contact. She is just days out from Pearl Harbor, the last stateside stop before moving on to the exotic ports of the Western Pacific. But the crew of the Peleliu will not be visiting any foreign ports of call on this particular journey. The events of September 11th will make sure of that.
Come along on a TV road trip. That's sure to be really swell. See your favorite TV places like the Batcave and the Diner from Seinfeld. Join Three's Company's John Ritter for a trip down memory lane you just can't skip. Fantasy Island, here's the Dukes of Hazzard. It's Travel Channel's TV road trip.
Tomorrow night at 9.
Only on the Travel Channel.
Rough night's sleep? No big deal? Look again. This X-ray shows no support for your neck and spine when you toss and turn on an ordinary pillow. Introducing the Contour Cloud for incredible support and comfort. See the same person on the Contour Cloud? Neck and spine are straight and supported. That's because of its 4 exclusive therapeutic features. First, patented soft touch memory layer molds to fit your head, neck, even your ear for unparalleled softness and comfort. Second, Yellow Wedge provides additional cervical neck support. Third, Blue Base supports and aligns your spine for a great night's sleep. And finally, this exclusive Crescent helps relieve uncomfortable pressure on shoulders. It gently cradles your head and neck. It even cradles your back.
I need neck support, and I used to use the egg carton type pillow. I think you know what I mean. And there is just no comparison. This pillow is the most comfortable pillow I've ever used ever.
With other pillows, I wake up, I have numbness in my fingers, I have pain in my shoulder, I'm sleeping on my side, whereas with this pillow here, I wake up, I feel as though I've gotten a good night's sleep.
Watch again how ordinary pillows simply don't support you. Now see how the Contour Cloud cradles your head in softness as it supports and aligns your spine. Thousands have paid $100 for this plain memory foam pillow, but the Contour Cloud is just $19.95. No other pillow combines these extraordinary levels of comfort and support. But wait, call now and we'll double your comfort for just $1. That's right, when you order one pillow at the regular price, you get a second Contour Cloud for just $1. Now you'll have a matching set, or use one as a gift. Over 1 million have already been sold at the regular price. Don't miss out. Call right now.
Have your credit card ready and call 1-800-371-5115. Get your second cloud pillow for just $1 plus shipping and handling. Call 1-800-371-5115. Don't wait. Call 1-800-371-5115.
What makes this show unique is we get these letters. Wives, parents, friends, they all want to give a gift to surprise someone special.
It's amazing what these makeovers do. These are rooms where people really live their lives, and it's nice to help them make a change, even in a simple way.
2 designers, countless stories. Our new daytime series is not just changing rooms, it's changing lives. Surprise by Design, weekdays at 10 and 1, starting Tuesday on the Discovery Channel.
You're so wonderful. Shut up.
I've got to tell you, a few weeks ago, I saw the White's metal detector ad on TV. In no time at all, my local dealer had me out treasure hunting. I was finding the good stuff my first day. And the best part? You can see what's in the ground before you dig it up.
Your treasure hunting adventure can start right now. Call for your free catalog.
My wife said I needed a healthy hobby. She's proud of the weight I've lost and really proud of this.
Call now.
Hello?
Get out of the house! Get out of the house!
When you're online with one line, you can miss an important call. With Catch a Call, you can stay online as long as you want and never miss a call. Want to catch all those important calls? Get Catch a Call. One line for everything. Available at Radio Shack.
In a city where action rules, one man knows the true secrets. Jackie Chan.
That's my Hong Kong.
In a Travel Channel exclusive, Jackie Chan gives us a personal tour of his hometown. Explore Hong Kong through the master's eyes. And meet the real Jackie, a role no stunt double could fill. Jackie Chan's Hong Kong, Sunday, October 6th at 9, only on the Travel Channel. We're back with more Travel Channel Presents.
The USS Peleliu steams toward Hawaii on the first leg of a peacetime deployment. This U.S. Navy amphibious assault ship, which is second only in size to the aircraft carrier, carries over 1,400 men and women from the 15th Marine Division. It is these very same Marines who will soon find themselves the first units to be airlifted into Afghanistan. But for now, on what is still a peacetime cruise, the Marines train on the Peleliu's flight deck, the only available open space out here in the middle of the Pacific. A Marine expeditionary unit like this one is designed to be a rapidly deployed first assault force. It is the job of the Peleliu and her sailors to get them where they need to be.
The ship is a multi-purpose amphibious assault ship. It can deliver combat troops and equipment by air or by surface into a variety of different types of landing zones by a variety of means.
All this must be launched from the Peleliu by air and by water, and all virtually at the same time. This is the sole purpose of the Peleliu. This is what this ship is all about.
If the Navy side falls down, then the Marines can't do their mission. And we're really here to support the Marines. They just can't get ashore. So our airport has to operate, our well deck has to operate. So no teamwork, no mission.
This is how the ship would expect to operate during a real invasion, with both air and sea elements working in unison. Below decks, the well is open and the amphibians start moving out with the heavy equipment. With the landing craft on their way, Marine units start moving out onto the flight deck. Every detail, even down to how to properly board the helos in full battle gear, is run over and over again. The troop carriers lift off fully loaded, each one capable of carrying 40 Marines to a landing site which could be hundreds of miles away. The attack Cobras will fly close cover for the troop carriers all the way to their destination, then hover overhead as the troops disembark. Finally, the Harriers start taking off. Their Marine pilots will heavily strafe the landing zone in advance of the troop carriers, softening any resistance they might encounter. Exercises like these are critical, getting all elements to mesh perfectly and showing how this ship manned by over 1,000 sailors gets 1,400 Marines and their equipment onto a landing site as rapidly as possible.
We are there to take Marines to the places they need to go to carry out the country's mission. And we're portable, and we don't need permission to sail in open seas, and that's the difference of the way the Navy is from the Army and the Air Force, is that we have relatively quick, movable presence, and we don't need folks' permission.
Chop 5 green. Yeah. Chop 5 green. Nice, see green. Women's martial line. Ready? Yeah. Stand by. Fire.
So that's some of the reasons why I'm willing to leave my family. I'm willing to take those chances of hurt in the family. Is because I know I'm a part of something greater.
So doing the country's business for us right now is to be doing exactly what we are. We're a worked up, we're a ready, amphibious ready group, and we can be called on to do the whole range, the full spectrum of options. So our business right now is being strong, but if called upon, it's also to back it up with a lot of punch.
Flight boss Jordan's words are almost prophetic, but neither he nor anyone else on board can know they will soon become part of a massive war effort, taking the ship and her battle group right into the front line of the war in Afghanistan.
In 1999, he took you behind the scenes with the Taliban. Now, adventurer Robert Young Pelton returns to Afghanistan for a Travel Channel exclusive. From the front lines of the War on Terror to a crowded Taliban prison to the first interview with John Walker Lynn.
Can you tell us if you have family in America?
World's most dangerous places inside Afghanistan. Coming up next only on the Travel Channel.
Where you headed, son? Memphis, home of Elvis. Keep. I get out here. Well, don't get out here. You gotta see Beale Street, home of the blues. The Mississippi River. And Uncle Junior's catfish stand. Let's see.
Introducing Lay's newest taste of America, Memphis barbecue potato chips. No one can eat just one.
I know you point that thing, then take cheap. Hey, look at there's Elvis. Hello, Elvis.
Go online now to the Travel Channel at discovery.com for the best of New Zealand. Plan a trip with our destination guide. Uncover Auckland's most beautiful and well-kept secret attractions. Plus, go on location to the coolest New Zealand sites in our photo gallery. New Zealand's best. Online now at the Travel Channel at discovery.com. Brought to you in part by Air New Zealand. Check out their amazing travel offers to New Zealand, Australia, and the Pacific Islands. Go to discovery.com and click on the Travel Channel for more details.
There are a lot of castles in the world, but only one of them is in the middle of the action on the Las Vegas Strip. And right now, through this exclusive TV offer, you can stay here at Excalibur for just $59 a night, Sunday through Thursday. Enjoy the fun and the sun that only Las Vegas has to offer. Or try your luck at building a fortune of your own in one of Las Vegas's largest casinos. Yes, you can be a special guest of the King and Queen for just $59 a night, Sunday through Thursday. And as if that weren't a legendary offer on its own, if you call now, you'll also get a bonus 2-for-1 lunch at the Round Table Buffet, $5 off the Tournament of Kings dinner show, $5 off admission to New York's famous comedy club Catch a Rising Star, and $5 off tickets to Australia's all-male revue, Thunder from Down Under. So call now and start planning your trip to Excalibur. There's no better place than the castle for a truly legendary vacation value.
Your pet's same exact heartworm and flea medications delivered to your home, saving you time and money. 1-888-PET-MEDS. We deliver savings and convenience on HeartGuard, Advantage, Frontline, and all other pet medications. Call to order now or order online.
You have the ultimate power to look better, to be stronger, to redefine your body and yourself. This is the Bowflex Power Pro. Quite possibly the most effective home fitness machine ever made. In as little as 20 minutes a day, 3 times a week, you can get real results that can change your entire body. With over 60 health club quality exercises and up to 410 pounds of resistance, it's like having an entire gym in your home. Bowflex is so effective that we guarantee you'll get the results you want in 6 weeks or less. You can own a Bowflex with no money down and payments as low as $33 per month. Call and ask for a free video and brochure and check out the entire Bowflex lineup or visit us on the web at bowflexdirect.com today. Redefine your body with Bowflex. On September 11th, terrorists tried to change America forever. Well, they succeeded.
We're back with more Travel Channel Presents.
After 8 grueling days of training at sea, the amphibious assault ship Peleliu arrives in Honolulu. In the midst of a routine 6-month deployment, Pearl Harbor will be the crew's last contact with home. But it is several weeks before September 11th, and events will soon put the Peleliu right smack in the center of the war in Afghanistan. Any U.S. naval ship entering Pearl Harbor will pay its respect to the Arizona. Resting on the seabed below this simple and austere memorial, the Arizona was sunk in the sneak attack that brought America into World War II. Once again, the Peleliu's crew mans the rails in honor and respect of the 1,177 men who went down with the ship, the greatest single loss of life in the history of the American Navy.
A lot of people gave their lives fighting for what this country believed in, and it's represented by the Arizona Memorial. The Navy is really steeped in tradition and history, and we really try not to forget those that went before us. And I think that's one of the reasons why rendering honors to the Arizona Memorial is such an important thing, and why all the ships that go past render honors.
This is just days before another sneak attack will propel the Peleliu to the Arabian Sea and a new battleground, the war on international terrorism. But right now, the crew is looking forward to a brief 12-hour liberty in Honolulu.
There was a time where sailors, when they went ashore, they had one thing in mind. They were headed for fun. But now you've got a lot of people that want to get out and see the country and the cultures.
While the crew of the Peleliu enjoy their liberty, tourists are pouring aboard another ship, docked just across the channel from the Peleliu. The USS Missouri was the last of the great battleships to be decommissioned. Like the Intrepid in New York, the Missouri also serves as a museum ship, one that is an integral part of American history.
We are gathered here, representatives of the major warring powers, to conclude a solemn agreement whereby peace may be restored.
It was here on this very deck that the Japanese officially surrendered to General MacArthur, marking the end of World War II. The Missouri went on to serve in 2 more wars, Korea and Desert Storm, finally being taken out of service in 1992 when the days of the great battleships were clearly over. Today, she is one of over 40 museum ships in 22 states, offering the public an up-close look at naval history and the ships that made it. Early the next morning, tugs help ease the Peleliu from her anchorage. Pearl is the first and last stop on any Pacific deployment that offers the opportunity to visit ports like Sydney and Perth, Singapore and Hong Kong. But September 11th changes everything. The Peleliu is ordered to steam immediately for the Arabian Sea. In just a matter of days, the ship arrives in a full-fledged war zone. The crew's constant training to maintain battle readiness takes on a sharp focus and meaning.
11 weeks ago, our country was attacked.
You kind of check CNN, and the next thing you know, that's where the U.S. Navy is going to go. That's part of that adventure. And I think that's what makes most people tick. That's why you join the Navy, and a huge part of why you stay.
For several more weeks, the battle group waits and continues to train. If and when the call comes, they will be more than ready. And come it does. Training is over. This is the real thing. In this footage, shot on board in the Arabian Sea, the Marines prepare one more time to board the helos.
We don't necessarily serve for our own good. We serve for the good of the nation. We serve for the good of the team. Those Marines and sailors serve alongside each other. We serve a larger cause.
This fight is over for the Al-Qaeda. This fight is over for the Taliban.
They're still the ones that are willing to fight and die for this country and what this country believes in and what this country was founded on so many years ago.
They are the heart and soul of this ship. Men and women, sailors and Marines alike, who willingly agree to go wherever their duty takes them. It is they who bring their integrity and courage to a ship like the Peleliu and make her and all the ships that have gone before her the bulwarks of liberty and freedom.
Hi, Christopher Knight for the Travel Channel. You may know me as Peter Brady, and this here is the famous Brady Bunch home. And like a lot of stars in Hollywood, this house was cosmetically enhanced. For the show, they magically added a fake window. And that's just one secret we're revealing when the Travel Channel hits the road in search of the real locations of your favorite TV shows. From Fantasy Island to Three's Company, host John Ritter is taking you on a TV road trip. Tomorrow night at 9, only on the Travel Channel.